What's up, everybody? You may be wondering, why is Justin standing on top of an LD Systems Maui 44 G2? Well, I thought it would be a good way to tell you that I had an opportunity to bring this out, and I want to share with you the review, talk about the good, the bad, and do it all right now. What's going on, everybody? Justin Schwartz here, founder of the DJs Guru, coming at you as always from the lovely DJs Guru studio. And today we're talking about the LD Systems Maui 44 G2 portable column array system with a 15-inch woofer. And my gosh, this thing is a beast. We're gonna dive in deep and talk about everything that this does and how it sounds and all of that. I got an opportunity to work with it over the weekend and want to share my thoughts. But before we do that, make sure you're checking us out at thedjsguru.com. If you have any questions on this particular item or really anything, drop your comments and questions down below. And consider subscribing to our page. We always appreciate new subscribers. Really trying to help everyone out there who is appreciating what we're doing. So we're going to keep coming at you with content like this and comparisons and everything like that. All right, back to the Maui 44 G2. So I think the first place to start is, let's talk about what is it, and let's talk about features and specs. So it's a portable column array system. You've got 1500 watt bi-amplification system. Amplifier is in the sub. There is a clicking system here that powers the top, and everything comes through this way. And the top speaker is set up in a really interesting way. So you have 12 3.5-inch neodymium full range speakers in here, right? And then separately, you have 4 1-inch high frequency drivers. So what they did was they engineered this in a way to really be extreme in its coverage. So it has a very unique coverage angle of 120 by 25. So you're gonna get a very wide coverage angle, and you're going to get a very direct forward angle. They have a wavelength guide on here and digital tuning that really helps to fill the room and push the sound, and I can tell you that it does do that better than some of the lower end portable column array systems that I've heard. So it really has a really smart engineering system in here, and a very interesting component system that is different than really anything else out there. So talk a little bit more about the specs and some of the things that I like about it. First of all, this has true wireless linking ability via Bluetooth and HD quality Bluetooth. So you're not losing any sound quality at all using Bluetooth. And what does that mean? It doesn't just mean you can connect it to a phone and play music. You can actually pair this particular unit with another one. So if you have two, if you're a DJ, if you're a performer, musician, or if you're in retail or hospitality, or this is a permanent installation, you now don't have to worry about the cable to connect these. And when you have a system that has 120-degree coverage, you can actually put them out a little bit farther. So not having the need to put that cable is really kind of a cool feature. And then of course you can bring anything into it Bluetooth as well with a phone or any type of device like that. The other thing to talk about when we're talking about two that makes this item unique is this has a built-in cardioid system. And to really sum up what a cardioid system is, any DJ or musician that's ever been put in a corner knows that a lot of the bass in a subwoofer comes out of the back, right? So when you have a cardioid system, by using two together, you can activate this cardioid system And what it does is it reduces the bass coming out of the back and helps to push it forward. In this case, from what the specs will tell you, it's about 18 to 20% between the highs and the lows, where you're going to get an increase in projection forward. That's big, you know, so that's something that you would see in full range point source systems. You don't normally see something like that in a portable column array, so I thought that was extremely unique feature to point out and keep that in mind for most of my audience here that is always back in a corner somewhere, you know. So anyway, that's another great feature. To give you an idea of some more of the specs, and I'll grab a tape measure here too in a little bit, we'll kind of go through the specifics of sizing, but the weight, this is important, the sub, which is big. This is like a traditional 15-inch sub, but it looks great and works like a portable column array, but it sounds like your traditional sub. About 80 pounds, right? It's a little bit heavier than what you might be used to if you're coming from a smaller system, but it also produces a lot more output. And by the way, this is made of birch wood, really, really good quality, and it has a really heavy-duty, tough coating, which is why I felt comfortable standing on it. When I used it during the gig, I will tell you, I'm going to just do this real quick, and they're going to get mad at me, but I'll tell you, it's really solid, and I had fun standing up on here, and I was doing stuff with the crowd, and I don't know, that was something kind of cool about it to me that I liked that you really can't do with other systems and feel as comfortable because this thing was so solid. So anyway, the other thing that I wanted to mention was this top is made of a powder-coated aluminum, and it's a clicking system, so there's no cable, right? There's no pole, there's nothing. And essentially, it just comes apart like this. And then this part comes apart as well, and you put it right back on with the 4 screws like that. And that's how you set it up. I mean, it's so easy as far as the setup. Anyone coming from Electro-Voice EVOLVE50, I mean, this is a fantastic move because it's essentially working exactly like your system, but more powerful and more output. So anyone that knows that, you can see the simplicity in the design and the portability of everything that you get in one column. All right, so let's dive in a little deeper to some of the specs here, like I said. So this is the box, right? And you can kind of take a look at this. Ooh, to kind of really get an idea of the footprint. And the footprint is super important for people to know. I understand this because if the footprint is 2 inches too big, it doesn't fit, right? And now all of a sudden you bought a new speaker and now you got to buy a new vehicle. And that's a whole other thing you got to think about. So the footprint is something that you have to consider, and can what I have handle the sub? So let's take a look. Again, it's 80 pounds and you have about 23.5 inches here. In the back here, and your width, 15.5, and then height, a little bit under 25 inches. You got handles on the side, rubber feet on the bottom, heavy duty handles here, and you got your clicking system here. We'll take a look now, keep spinning this bad boy around. At the back, some differences here from some of the other ones that I've used is you have individual controls of the top and the bottom here. So you have separate gain control for the top full range portion and the sub, which was kind of cool. The other thing is you have the ability to turn the cardioid on and off when you're using this with a second set. And then you have, of course, your inputs and your outputs. Everything on here is pretty simple to use, very self-explanatory. Literally walked into the gig on Saturday after making sure it turned on. Other than that, I didn't do anything, and I was able to figure it out in a second, literally, and I just had to plug in and it was good. Ease, simplicity of use, definitely a big on the LD systems, but I did want to show you the sub with a little bit more detail. All right, and these are the tops. So again, these are a powder-coated aluminum. Really, really nice looking, clean, aggressive styling, you know, very, very clean and smart as far as the lines of this from what I see. Heavy duty, feels fantastic, and then the clicking system is just so simple where essentially to put it together again, drop it down, and then you put this one on top of the other and you're good to go, you're all set up. So no cables, no poles, and we'll talk about the sound now. Okay, so as I told you, I brought these into a live event this past weekend, so I didn't have an opportunity to get as much B-roll and as much footage as I normally would, where I do it outside or, you know, where I rent out a catering hall or whatever. You'll have to just take my word for it on this one. They sounded incredible, and they were at the same level as what I'm used to using, okay? So that was the first thing, was I didn't have any drop-off, and I was impressed. My DJ specifically said, oh, I love the way those look. So aesthetically, he loved them, and that was another thing that I thought was kind of cool. But just to kind of give you an idea of what I was going through during my review when I went through this. I did an A/B, and I left this on by itself, and I really had a chance to kind of listen to it with people, which is something that I don't normally get to do, right? And I found that it was very clear. I found that it did project really, really well. And the main thing with portable column arrays that I like, and specifically with this, because of the unique component system in here, again, you have 12 little speakers, right? And then you have 4 drivers. And a really cool wavelength guide that is directing these in a way that when it gets to your ear, it sounds really good. So there was no distortion. That was the first thing. It was very balanced. That was another thing that I did find, that it was a bit more of an elegant sound than what I am used to, but at the same time, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing, and I see that this is the way it's engineered, so that is exactly what I heard. And output-wise, the thump of it, all of that was very, very impressive. And you know, if you're a wedding or a private events DJ and you're looking for a portable column array system and that next level, this is definitely it. I mean, I would say that in my world, if I'm doing, you know, your cookie cutter Sheraton, Hilton, whatever style banquet room, right? 200, 250 people in a room like that, you know, again, people, I hate to talk about number of people, it's really more the room, and let's talk 15-foot ceiling, something like that. More than adequate, and will do the job so well and so easily with a beautiful look. I just have to say that my opinion on the sound was very impressed with it. Definitely would recommend this to a DJ, to a musician, to anyone, even as a single. If you're not looking to buy 2, as a single unit, this thing is incredible. It really is, as a PA system. So any way you look at it, just a really good piece of equipment here, and everything that it says it does, it does. So for me, I find it to be a phenomenal value. Checks a lot of boxes at a really, really great price point, where at the same price point, I don't see as many bells and whistles available with this level of sound at 132 SPL with a 15-inch woofer, you know, wooden bottom, a great company here behind it that really does support their products really well. The other thing I wanted to mention real quickly before we wrap this up was the aesthetics of this make it appear to be like a giraffe, right? Like it's like the tallest thing you've ever seen in your life, especially when you see them online on pictures and things like that. Because of the system that is here and the way that there's no pole, it's just essentially a speaker all the way down, right? But bring out my trusty tape measure I found. Believe it or not, at the normal height that I put my other brand of portable column array, this was actually the identical height. And just to, oh God, I'm doing this live, really? 2 inches at the bottom, right? About 88 inches, and what is that? Quick math, do some quick math for me out there, but 88 inches of height, and that's what you're dealing with as far as the height. So I think, what's 5 feet? 60 inches. We're going to do math real quick. 72 is 6 feet.
1 eternity later.
So we're like 7 plus, a little bit over 7, right? I would say that normally when I would put up my full range speakers, right, I would usually put my speaker tripod up like this. I'd put it up to about my nose. The goal would be always to get it projected above people's heads, right? Well, there you go. So that said, I don't think this is any higher than where the top of my normal full range speaker would have been anyway. So I just want to point it out that although because it's different in its design, it looks like it's like this massive thing. It really isn't. And the beautiful part is everything's built into one. You don't need a tripod. You don't need a scrim. You don't need a cable. You don't need anything else. Pole, gravity clip, whatever. It's all here in a click. All right, everybody. So that is my Maui 44 G2 review, which, by the way, 20% lighter weight than the original series. Okay, so they listened, they made this thing lighter weight, and I am a fan. I think this checks a lot of boxes for a lot of people out there. And our thing here is I can never answer a question about what's best because it's such a personal thing and everything has to be considered. So here's the information on the LD Systems Maui 44 G2. As it stands alone here by itself, I will tell you it is a phenomenal system worth every penny. You can't go wrong with it, and it really has tremendous feature set at a really, really good value price. Anyway, make sure you are checking us out at thedjsguru.com. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us there or drop your comments down below. While you're down below in the description, if you want to make a purchase, there's a link. Click that link. We appreciate that. And of course, consider subscribing to us here. We're going to continue to come at you with a ton of content. I'm going to be doing a lot of tutorials and things like that as we go on speakers and lighting and other things like that. So, thank you so much for watching this. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it. As I always like to say, we'll see you on the flip side. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.